In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a basic assignment and how to set it up to be graded. To begin with, we're just going to turn editing on and decide which week or section we're going to add our assignment to. I'm going to put it into the second week here of my semester. And to do add an assignment, I simply click on Add an Activity or Resource. I'm going to choose the assignment activity and then I'm going to click Add. I'm going to give my assignment a name. I'll call it A1, Assignment 1, and I'll say Class Presentation. So I'm just making up an assignment here and I'll say prepare a 5-minute presentation for class. Very vague, but I'm going to leave it that way. As you'll see, I'm going to give the students lots of options for what a 5-minute presentation for class could be, just for the purposes of this tutorial at least. You'll notice you can display the description on the course page if you want here. That would just put that exact description right on the course page. You probably don't want to use that a whole lot, as it creates a lot of text clutter on your main course page. You can also, in this new version of assignments in Moodle 2.8, you can actually add files directly to the assignment. So if you have longer instructions or PDFs or a Word document or something else you want the students to read or review before doing the assignment, you can post it right here. So this is a great new feature for assignments. Then availability, and here you can set the due dates or open date and due date and a cutoff date for your assignment. By default, Moodle sets the due date to 1 week exactly from the creation date. You can disable these if you want, or you can change the dates. You can have the assignment open immediately and just go to a later date for handing in, and there is a cutoff date here as well. I'm just going to leave it all disabled for the moment. Then submission types, you can have the students by default, at least in this instance of Moodle, our version of Moodle, by default file submissions is checked. However, if you uncheck that and don't have any file submissions or online text allowed for the assignment, you are creating what's effectively called an offline activity or an offline assignment. So this might be for anything from grading a written exam that you just want to put a grade in for the assignment, or something that really is offline. You know, the students going on a field trip or doing something that doesn't require any online text submission or uploading of files. You could also have them upload files of any type up to the site upload limit. You can limit the size of the files, and you can also have them attach multiple files if you want. In fact, all the way up to 20 attachments. I'm just going to leave it set to 1. And if you could also have the assignment so it's online text. So you could have the students actually type their responses into the Moodle window in online. Associated with that, you can enable a word limit as well. So you might want to put in some kind of word limit for this. And if you want, you can actually enable all of this. So you could leave it wide open. So class presentation might be multiple documents, PowerPoints, Word documents, scripts, presentations, plus they can type some text in here as well. So I'm just showing all of the possibilities here that you have. Feedback types. So by default in Moodle, feedback comments is checked, and feedback means the teacher's comments. So as the instructor, by default, there is in a text box, an area where you can put in feedback for the assignment. If you check feedback files, then you can send files back to the student as well. There's also an offline grading worksheet, or you can comment inline as well. But I'm just going to leave it set to default. There's a submission setting area. You can require students to click the submit button. I would recommend that you leave this set to no. Require students accept the submission statement. So if you set this to yes, then the students will see a statement that essentially they agree that the work is their own work. So it is a, if you like, an honesty document or a plagiarism protection type of statement. And the attempts reopened is linked to, is part of whether you have this set so that the students click submit to close the assignment. And then lastly, the maximum attempts here would be the maximum number of attempts that the student can make. Once again, if you have questions about any of these, there's a little question mark inside the circle here that you can always click on and get inline or online help right here in Moodle. I'm going to close that. Group submission, we're not doing groups on this assignment. Notifications, you can choose whether you will be notified or whether students will be notified about assignments being graded. And then grade itself. So here is where we choose how we're going to grade our assignment. I'm going to leave it set to points for this assignment, and I'm going to set the maximum number of points to 10. Actually, I'm going to make it 20 points for this assignment. I'm going to leave it set to simple direct grading for this assignment, and I don't have any grade categories, and I'm going to talk about setting up grade categories in another tutorial. But if you had categories such as projects, homework, things like that, different categories set up in your gradebook, you would see them there, and you could pop this assignment directly into one of those categories. Blind marking, no. So this would allow you to grade students not knowing who the student is. There is also a marking workflow, so you can keep your assignments and grading hidden from students until a certain time if you like, or just keep track of the workflow process if grades are changing over a period of time. And then you can also use marking allocation, so you could have is set up so markers can be allocated to specific students. So if we've got multiple graders in a course, we can have those graders assigned to particular students. Common module settings are as standard in Moodle. Visible is visible to students. If you want to hide it from the students, you click hide. We're not doing groups, once again, no groupings. And then of course restrict access allows you to add the standard sort of restrictions here if you want. Once we're done with the assignment, we can click save and return to course. And here is the assignment. And if I wanted to grade this at any point, as soon as the student has submitted their assignment, I can simply grade it by clicking on the actual assignment itself, clicking on View Grade All Submissions, and then choosing which filter I want. Now, by default, Moodle will set it for no filter so that you should be able to see all of the students listed here that are part of your class. Whether they've submitted anything or not, you should be able to go in and grade the student at any point of time, unless you've overridden the assignment in the gradebook itself. The filter allows you to filter either by students who haven't submitted assignments or who have submitted, or assignments that require grading. So these are a great tool as well. I'm going to leave it set to no filter. And then when I'm ready to grade, I simply click on the little pencil icon underneath the grade column next to the student I wish to grade. Joe hasn't submitted anything here, but that's no surprise since I just created the assignment. That doesn't stop me, however, from grading. And to grade the student, I'm just going to simply go into this area, type in the value I want out of 20, type the comments in here, good work Joe, and then when I am done with it, I'm ready to save changes, and you can see here by default it's set to notify students. However, if you don't want to send an email, and what this will do is if it's set to yes and you click save, the student will be notified by email that that you have made comments on their assignment, and then they will have to go into Moodle to view those comments. They'll have to authenticate in. If you don't want them to receive an email, say no, and they'll just have to check and see if it's been graded when they log into the class. When we're ready to go, we click Save Changes and click Continue, and so now Joe has been graded for A1 class presentation, and that grade has gone into the gradebook. I could go back to the course via the breadcrumb trail and click on grades, or I can go directly to view the gradebook from the administration block when I'm in an assignment. I don't have to go back to the main page to view the gradebook. I simply click on View Gradebook, and now I can see that Joe has 2 assignments in here. Introduce Yourself, where he received 7 out of 10, and the A1 class presentation assignment, where he received 18 out of 20, giving him a percentage of 83.33%. In the next video tutorial, I'm going to show you how the Moodle Gradebook is calculating this grade and how we can modify it and customize it to suit our course needs.